Mine only showed up for like half of the screen. It didn't show all of it. They didn't like cut off. I think we have to set our width at a whole different. Because I mean that would make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Jessica and Luke, is it also cutting off for you guys, like here in the classroom? I'm getting it fine, but other people are getting it a little bit chopped off.
Yeah, mine is chopping off like the last name column a little bit.
Yeah,
And
same.
you guys have the same width and height as I do for the primary stage?
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's strange.
I think we just have to change the size of the data. The table. Because I just made my app bigger. And it adjusted in the table like. There's like adjusted, we get smaller.
Even why is it doing it? It's not really.
Because it's set if I change that to 600, it makes the entire phone bigger. I reach let's say, yeah, there we go. But so then my last name text is, well, I can change that if I manually drag. Is that how you can manually adjust it?
Yeah. Tony tried this one, an additional piece of code. No, not this one, not the min size. Min width. 450.
I did 400 because it looked a little weird.
400.
Yeah, I don't know how it's.
And then that seemed to work okay for him, or 450, whatever, you know. Did that fix for you guys too?
Yeah, is there a way we can make the default size of the last name header like bigger in general? Because my last name, like the text on that header is like cut short.
See, I'm not having any of that stuff that you are having. See, mine is fine.
And that's the only one I did.
Try that 450 again. Oh, sorry, yeah, if you set the 450. Take the last name to 200. Oh, you know why? Go back. Oh, you know why, guys? Maybe you guys have made this mistake. You never change this to L name, and you never
You're
change this to
right.
ID call.
You're right.
That was it.
So I believe that was the whole deal. That's why you don't have to set the minimum width to 400.
I love how sneaky it is. It's fast.
Everybody did the same thing. You copy paste, you only change the first line.
Boom, bang, bang.
Yeah, mine's all fixed now. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
So there's really no need to have to set that.
No,
width,
No,
right?
no. Cool. Once we get that going, now it's time to populate the data and fill the data in. So where is the data getting populated? Inside the method XML data. So when I call XML data, I will have my student array ready. Okay, so call XML data to get the student array populated with values from XML.
do we want to put this line before ID column or after?
Oh, it could be done anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You know, because, okay, I think we were better off doing it right here. Okay, everybody got that piece done? Now it's time to bring all of that data and assign it to the columns in the table, okay? So for that, we will create an object of observable list, which we will use type generic student. So the observable list is of type student because that's a general type. And then we are running the length of the students array. And in each cycle, we will add one student array object to the observable list. And then we will be assigning all this data to the table. Assign the data collected in observable list object of type student to the table. And here you go.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. That's really cool though. So is XML, would you say like kind of one of the most versatile file types?
It is understood by almost all operating systems because it's a text file.
Okay.
The only difference between a regular text file and XML text file is because XML files are structured.
Okay.
So if you ever run into a problem where you are communicating with two systems and they can't understand each other, bring the data in the XML format and then transport it. In all languages, in all high-level languages understand XML. So everybody got it on Zoom? Okay, Jessica, you got it. Luke got it. Devin. Sparrow, you got it?
Yeah, I keep getting it out 3 times. Oh.
So this is how we did the XML to Java object mapping. That we grab the data from the XML, brought into the Java object, and then we assign the Java object to a Java effects object. Very similarly, we can do database to Java mapping. That you grab the data from the database, put it into the Java object, assign the object to Java effects. So assigning the Java object to the Java effects is the same. All you will be doing different will be what? The data method. If the data method is grabbing the data from database, then this logic will be slightly different. But the assignment logic will be the same. How you're assigning logic will be different. So once you get the basic look and feel, it doesn't matter how you are bringing the data. The rest of the logic will be the same. It's just the data pulling logic will be different. Okay. Okay, guys. So with that, let's get to Java database connectivity. That's what we'll be talking about next. So if you go under this week's unit, which is unit number 8, that's our main topic for the day, Java database connectivity. So I've given you YouTube video links here. I've given you web tutorials link here, and I've given you the jar files that we will be needing to work with Java databases. And I have shown you the steps of assigning these libraries to your project. So do this, download all these jar files one by one. You click on them, they will download. And then you can go to Eclipse, your current project's properties, go to libraries, and you can add external jars. And you can add all of these to the list.
We drop field tab, we go to library, find external jar, then we can add all of them. Boom, bang, boom. And 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
Why, what's with all that yellow underline on all?
Those are warnings. Maybe there's a version difference, and maybe some other code.
Not red.
Equivalent code that the Java recommends that you use and stuff. So when Whenever you guys are done with that, give me a green check. So I will then explain to you our concepts for today, and then we will get to the coding part. Devin, did you get those two? Yes, Luke, I only added those to this week's. I didn't add everything. So this week's project, I only added the XML, students.xml to the project, and the two other files in the default package. And you're talking about the jar files that, yeah, I only added to this week's properties. So whichever project you are working with is the project that needs those jar files. Okay. Now, let me share with you an image so that you understand the JDBC stuff. So you have a database. That's where your database is. So look over here, okay? And then you have your Java application, which is right here on the right-hand side. Left-hand side. Left-hand side, you have a Java application. Right-hand side, you have a database. Java cannot talk to database directly. So what Java does, Java has a built-in support to talk to database, which is called JDBC. But that is half of the bridge, not the complete bridge. It is the Java side of the bridge. Okay. Then the database vendor must also provide with drivers so that Java can talk to the database. That's the other half of the bridge. Okay, so Java comes halfway, the database vendor has to come the other halfway, then they both meet, and then what you make is JDBC and whatever the driver name bridge. So if the driver is ODBC driver, then it is called JDBC ODBC bridge. Okay. The ODBC driver is a built-in Windows driver. And in the Windows settings, you can go and you can look for a driver. You probably would have done something similar with Alan in SQL Server, right? ODBC?
He's looked for drivers and DLLs within his file explorer, but I have not dealt a lot with SQL Server yet.
Okay, but did you guys deal with ODBC yet?
We're slightly with RPG and
Oh, with RPG, okay.
and a little bit of like C#, the database stuff. We're getting into the adventure work, SQL Server and DB2 stuff, and so we have to, in order to make database connections, use
ODBC, okay. So yeah, Windows is very big on ODBC. That's why what I did different here, instead of introducing you to ODBC again, I made you download those drivers, and that is you can access drivers. That's the name of that driver. So the bridge that we will be making will be JDBC you can access bridge. Okay, so when in the IBM Enterprise, in the next half of the remaining half of the class, when we go to the Java Enterprise Edition, that's when I will make you develop JDBC and AS400 bridge so we can talk to DB2. So that way you would have seen multiple bridges.
Let's go.
Okay, so we use different drivers based on the database vendor. So did everybody understand this picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I am on the Java end, I have a JDBC bridge. And in order for Java to talk to the databases, Java needs a collection of classes. For example, for writing SQL statement, it has a statement class. When SQL statement returns a result back, it has a result set class. If I want to read about the database, the number of tables in the database, what are the column names in the table, it has result set metadata. It has a metadata class. So it has different classes for database needs, which are all part of JDBC API. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this diagram before we move? So what I will do is I will develop a local database using Microsoft Access. It's a very small scale database, easy to use, and then we will export the database file into Eclipse. And we will drop it at the same level that where XML file is, at the project level, not in the source. Then we will build the JDBC you can access bridge, and then we will work with that database file.
So we all have, I mean, it doesn't, are we gonna be accessing access on our personal PCs?
You all should have license to download Microsoft Office from Gateway, and that comes with access.
I have it. I know.
How about you guys? Do you have access, Microsoft Access on your computers?
I've been using the cloud access, but I don't have it set up currently on my computer, but I could get it set up.
Okay, so when you're using the cloud one, can you? Oh, I mean, like you mean like the one on the V2 cloud?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. But I wonder how will you bring that over or into your local computer, or you want to do this on the V2 cloud is another option you have.
What is Microsoft Safety? Am I supposed to download in order to have it?
That's I don't. How do you guys download your student license software? I'm not familiar with that process. Hold on a second.
Azure, I believe.
Azure, and how do you get to that?
Azure. Let me sign with their student email.
Plus 365.
Yeah, you just go to Microsoft Azure, sign in with your email.
So you go to MicrosoftAzure.com.
They'll tell you gotta sign in with your student email, send you to the Gateway website. I don't know if this is
This website, and then you sign in.
This is how I was able to accomplish getting my Microsoft Visual Studios license.
Okay. Oh, okay. Does it has Office? Groups of Office here? GTC, oh, GTC's Office 365 student licensing. That's licensing. No. Um,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I got it. There you go.
It's basically, I was able to search on Google's, on the GTC's webpage, which took me to this page.
You gotta like look at your profile. So go to the Word, as you were, click on your profile and then view account.
Go into your profile and view account, okay?
And then it'll send you to the five, and then you can look at.
Oh, Office apps,
Or subscriptions.
Office apps. And then you can install Office from there. Okay. Oh.
Download. Can we take a break while they download?
Yeah, I'm just in the meanwhile checking on the V2 cloud,
You need help finding them, Kira?
but he's on the gateway's computer, so he's,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Larry, yeah, all.
Oh, you do? I don't like any of the, I don't have OneDrive so disabled on my PC at home that it like doesn't start up anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, that OneDrive, I hate
Yeah,
OneDrive.
no,
I can't stand it. They force you to use it. They make it so hard to disable.
Dude, I went to register editor and like dismantled it. So now like File Explorer tells me I can sign in. But I get a lot of weird issues where it assumes that I'm still using it, but it's not available. So like certain things I can't delete, like it thinks that it still needs to be stored. I mean, it's just small little files and stuff like that, but it's like you can't move them, you can't, they're just there. You can't touch them because like whatever I've done so long ago, I forgot how I've done it. So it's like someday I'll figure it out maybe.
For those of you who do not have Office 365 and can download it either, then go to the V2 Cloud Eclipse version and you probably would have to click the choose and maybe choose a different one. Browse. Pick that style. Select one. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything they could do to make V2 faster?
It's not in our hands.
No, I'm just curious in general, like for the company that makes it.
Is any of you trying that on the V2 Cloud?
What?
No, I'm asking Zoom folks. Jessica, Luke, or
Can you
Devin?
repeat?
Are any of you trying to do the next set of activities, the database activities on V2 Cloud?
No, I just finished doing the Office download and now I'm just being.
Okay. Okay,
Open
Yeah, I'm
access.
installing that right now too.
okay. And Devin?
Yeah.
Office 365 would have all these applications that you need in terms of like Visual Studio. Office 365 will have Word, Excel, PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Access, and there is another one that we use in fourth semester, Microsoft Visio for modeling,
Mhm.
and Microsoft Project for project development. Yeah.
So I downloaded Office and I'm in there right now trying to get access to download or to have access to access, I guess. But I search it, it sees the app, but when I go to click on it, it gives me a weird like pop-up saying that it doesn't recognize this. I'm not sure. And I'm on my laptop, so I can't share my screen, but if anyone else has this problem, I'm not sure. Just putting it out there.
And you went all the way through?
Yeah, so like I followed everything through Azure, downloaded Office, set it up, and then I was trying to add the Access app, and I just clicked on it when I was searching for it because it didn't like show up in the Office like home or anything. And I click on Access, it says this action couldn't be performed because Office doesn't recognize the command it was given. That's what it says.
Well, that's and can you open any of the other apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint?
Let me try, hold on. Yeah, I can open Excel and everything. But yeah, I for some reason it's having trouble with access.
Weird. Let's see if anybody else also.
It's super weird because now I just downloaded it and it doesn't exist.
Let's see what.
It's just Office, not 365.
Oh, it has two different ones?
Yeah, it's just Office. Yeah, it's called Office.
Oh, okay. Did you download Office or Office 365?
I downloaded. Let's see. Office 365, I believe. But you know what? I was able to open Access. I just had to look for it on my computer, not through Office, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. As long as you got it. I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Why didn't I? Why? Because, so this access thing that you want to see. Access thing you want us to use. Basically, database. It's like a personal database, so we're able to make our own database stuff. And then put it in the. This is gonna be like mock how we do it. So like, we used it, well, I didn't use this, but Anna used this last couple of classes ago, and basically she used it to. Like it makes random shit. Random. Like, so this, like you can fill in headers and just fill shit, or I think it'll give you like random stuff. Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, I totally agree. Work for a staff. And how access is going. Well, access to office development.
And she said also that in after install, she had to manually look for it. They're just that access here. It doesn't, because access is not traditionally considered part of Office apps.
Fair enough.
So that's why it doesn't always shows up there. Okay. Luke and Devin, did you guys also got it?
I have Office downloaded, but I'm having the same problem that Jessica was having with the access.
And she was able to locate it locally on the computer because it doesn't always comes bundled with the rest of the apps. So after it's all downloads, just
Oh,
click
yeah.
on
Yeah, I
the
just
search
looked it up on my computer and it came up.
and came up right.
I'm really glad I remembered that Azure thing, because when I had originally had that issue, I couldn't access Microsoft Visual Studio because my license wasn't updated. And so for the first like 2 or 3 weeks, literally, dude, I'm sorry, we as a program are untouchable by the technology assistance tech. Like,
Tech Central.
Yeah, nope, not for us. They say, ask your teacher every time. They're like, you have a problem? I can't fix it. Talk to your teacher. Every time. And so like, yeah, I have family members that work in like that portion of it, and he is fairly, good at this stuff. I'm like, dude, what? It's a license for a student. Like, how does he, like, what? How do I have to act? And literally all I had to do was go to Azure and.
Maybe they didn't know.
No, I
That's
get
it.
it, but it's like, we're untouchable for tech.
You know what happened is that many years ago, the Gateway IT faculty members used to take care of all the academic initiative licensing.
Okay,
Then IT decided that that's not your job. That is our job. Give it over to us. So the IT faculty members gave the whole thing over to them. But then after that, they never defined the whole process as to who should our students go to at the beginning of the semester or the program to get the licensing information. So, and then it jumped from one person to another, the change of roles, the process not in place. So that's why when a lot of them don't even know that they have to do this. It's out there, it's just that nobody trains them, nobody tells them, because it's like once a year thing.
yeah, literally, yeah, exactly. They only get the problems that they come across.
Okay, so now that Microsoft Access is there, if you can open Microsoft Access and open a blank database, it will ask you to name it. Okay, so let's name our database TBS. TBS, just .accdb. Just look at the path where it is getting stored, because we would have to move this file into Eclipse after we are done creating the database. So you simply click create and you'll have a blank database. Even though it says table 1 on the left-hand side, there is no table. It just creates an empty one for you to start with. Is everybody here this far? Okay, Tony?
Believe so.
Okay. Zoom folks, Jessica? Okay. Now here, you single click on the table 1. And then on the top left corner, you see a scale with a triangle scale right above the view, a couple icons like that. You click on that and it will ask you, okay, you want to start working with the table? Why don't you first name it? So we would like to name this department. and click OK. Now, the next thing it asks me, okay, now start naming your fields. And the field, the very first field has a little gray color key next to it. That's because it's a primary key. Okay, so we're going to start naming our fields. So let's say department ID. And I'll choose text, short text from the list, from the drop-down list. And then at the bottom, I'll give a field size of 5. So the field sizes are at the bottom, or the field length. Five.
Is there a way we can make our view a little bit bigger?
I don't know how to make the font size larger here.
Fair enough.
Department name, short text, 25. DEPT name, short text, field size 25. And the last one is DEPT location, short text, 30. So first one is field length, field size 5. Second one, field size 25. Third one, field size 30. So just creating 3 fields. When you're done creating the 3 fields, simply hit the floppy disk icon located in the top left corner, right above the file. Okay, and then right above the view, you see a little grid view. Click on that. This is where we can add some data. So I'm just adding some random data here. So just 4 records, just for the sake of adding some data to it. Okay, everybody done with this? Close the Access database. Now, on your computer, browse to, for me, for example, for me, my database is in the documents folder. So go that far, drag your database and drop it on the project. Don't drop it on the source. Okay, drop it on the project and click OK to copy files. And you should see it next to the students.xml. Make sure your Access is closed. Okay, Microsoft Access should be closed. So far, so good, everybody? Everybody copied the database file over? Okay. Now, let's start working with the database file. So right-click on the source to create a new class, which we will call connect to DB, means database, and read Metadata means the data about the database with a public static void main.
Does it need to be FX?
No, no, it's just a simple console application we're doing. So initially, we will learn the concepts. When we are far enough in the concepts, then we can bring in the GUI. Otherwise, I don't want to do too many things at the same time. So this URL basically is my bridge. So let me call this one my JDBC. You can access bridge. Now, this is my bridge string that I have to build. Remember the diagram of bridge? So I just called it that so that's a little bit more readable for you guys. Now, JDBC : you can access, okay, so that's a bridge name, colon, and then this is the file name.
And it has to be all lowercase.
Yeah, yeah. And the file name should match the way you wrote your file name. However, your file name is in your project. But the rest, JDBC and you can access should be in all lowercase.
Why don't you have to put bridge at the end if you can access?
So again,
Why don't you have to put bridge at the end if you can access?
why do you have to put bridge? This is just a name.
So like in the string, it says JDBC, you can access. If we named it JDBC, you can access bridge, why don't we need to have JDBC, you can access bridge in the string?
Okay, this is just a name for you to know that this string represents the bridge.
Okay,
It's just a string name. It's just an object name.
okay.
Okay, I created a more meaningful name so that you know what that object represents. Okay. Now, the next thing is I need a connection object which will work on that bridge. So that's one kind of an object. Then I need, no, I don't need statement object in this program. So make sure you organize your import and your connection object will be imported from java.sql package, which is the Java database API. Okay, now starts my try catch block. I'll complete the catch later on. So I'm leaving it with a little red line for now. Class dot for name. This is the driver. Net dot you can access dot JDBC dot you can access driver. So that's the driver. That's the whole path of the package. Net dot you can access dot JDBC, and then you can access driver is the class that holds the driver information. Now I will establish my connection object using another built-in class called driver manager dot get connection. And this is where I say, okay, use that JDBC UDBC bridge. Okay, so that bridge will be used by the driver manager to establish the connection and give it to my connection object. And this is where I'm using a database metadata object to use the connection to go to the database and grab some database information. Such as I want to grab the URL based on which the whole connection is established. Or I'm interested in displaying the database product name. Or the database driver. After that, let me complete my catch. If I need two catches to have, and they both have the same exact body, like display the error message. This is something new in Java. I don't think so. I introduced this to you when we were in Java 1. You can literally write both kinds of exceptions with a bitwise operator with a single type. So you are basically saying if this is the error or this is the error. So for any kind of errors, the same catch will run. For both, if it's the first type or the second type. And then you run and check your output, console output. It should tell you the database URL. It will tell you the product name and it'll tell you the driver name.
I think Brian's broken.
Oh, you have it here, this is down there. So let's see if you are having. Yeah. Gotcha. Let's check again. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. So why is that?
You can access
Which one?
this one in particular.
Oh, that is the name of your driver. That is a driver. That is the file. That is the Java class written inside this package. Remember we added all those jar files?
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah.
that's one of the jar files, and this is one of the class in that jar file that has the driver code to talk to access.
okay,
Okay?
cool. That makes much more sense. 'Cause I'm like, why is this so particular on the spelling?
Yeah, let me explain this one point again to everybody on the Zoom, that this is one of those jar files that we downloaded earlier and we added to the libraries. And this is a file or a Java class written by the driver people that allows us to talk to the Microsoft Access database. So we are basically building this bridge from JDBC to the jar file where you can access, where we can then talk to our Access database. Yep. Spelling problems. And then dot. Basically a getter, type dot get. And then type D. Obviously D with that.
Oh, here, the uppercase A. On this JDBC. Oh.
Okay. Jessica, Luke, Devin, how are we doing?
Good.
Do you guys have any questions, the Zoom folks?
Nope.
Pretty straightforward here.
I got an error actually.
Okay,
It says net.youcanaccess.json.
say that again, Devin, you have an error?
Yeah, it says it's the you can access driver.
Oh, make sure that you can access is written the way I have it written, because this is case sensitive stuff. So check your line number 9. Check your line number 13, because most of the people who had errors in one of these or both of these lines.
It looks the same.
Okay, did you also, when you right click on the project properties in the libraries, did you add all those jar files, all 6 of those jar files from the Blackboard?
Yeah.
Okay, can you share your screen? Oh, you misspelled JDBC on line number 9. It is JDBC. You wrote JBDC.
Oh,
Okay, run it. Okay, hold on a second. Let's select remark. Can you open the reference libraries on the left-hand side in your Packet Explorer? Towards the bottom of your Packet Explorer on the left-hand side. Yeah. Okay, close that. Open the GRE system library. Okay, close that. Okay, open the Java FX22. Okay, close that. Okay. Now right click on week 9 and go to properties. Go to, okay, hold on a second. Okay. Click on the class path. Click on add external jars. No, not these. Go back to downloads and add all 6 of these. Yeah, click apply and close. And run it now. Yep, you didn't have those there. The jar
okay, so they got to
files.
be in the class path.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's save this example as. We will call our next example create table, because we now want to create a table from Java into that database. So the example is create table. Okay. Some of this code will be the same, but I will be deleting these lines. These 4 lines, we are not doing metadata stuff anymore. We rather are doing SQL stuff. So for that, we need statement object. Make sure you grab the statement from java.sql package.
Grab that beans. The funniest library you can find.
I'm dividing it on multiple lines because I will be needing multiple lines.
Tells me I'm not gonna like this.
Oh, I'm this EFPID. So make sure you change the very first field. By mistake, I did not write the E. I only wrote MPID. It's EMPID. See, you will not create, technically, you'll not create tables from Java. But I'm just showing you an example of creating a table from Java. Usually the developer, the database developer would create the table for Java developer and would give the table over to the Java developer to work with. Everybody set, all set? Did everybody understand this SQL statement?
Yeah, it's basically what we would write.
To
We
create-
Basically did that already.
Yeah, we did that. Probably would have done multiple times in other classes where we create a simple table. The name of the table is employees. It has one field, employee ID, data type character, size 5. It's a primary key. Comma, the next field, the data type, the size, comma, the next field, the data type, the size, comma, the next field, the data type. The size, no comma after the last field. You put a closing curly braces for an opening curly braces that you put at the beginning of listing the fields. Okay, how about Zoom people? Does anybody have any questions about the SQL itself? Now, after that, we instantiate our statement object that we declared on line number 11. Con, which is my connection object, dot create statement. So this will help me instantiate my statement object so I can run my SQL statement. The next step is there are two kinds of SQL statements. One that makes a permanent change, and the other one is to retrieve the data. Permanent change could be creating an object like table, or adding data, removing data, updating data. Those are permanent changes. Retrieving data is not a permanent change. It's just like you're just simply asking the database to give you some information, right? So what Java did, Java created two separate methods. If you're making a permanent change, you call update method. If you are simply retrieving the data, you call execute method. Okay. So since we are making a permanent change, we will call the update method on the statement object. So statement dot execute update. And this is the SQL that we are running. Once the it runs successfully, we would like to display table was created successfully. So if line 20 runs successfully, line 21 will run. Otherwise, line number 24 will run, showing that there is an error. Okay, go ahead and run this example. If you see table 6, okay, cool, awesome. Try to run it again.
No, I don't want to.
So that you can see the error message. Now it will go to the catch, which will display an error message that the following object already exists. So that is that's basically a way for us to check to see the table was created successfully.
Or you can, but if we already if it's already created, create new.
Yeah, again, you know, I'm not going too much.
Sure.
Yeah. Next, I want to write a result set metadata where I can go into the database and display all the tables that it has. Okay. So, you know, this kind of stuff is usually done if I'm creating a Java application that will go into my database and create a database management system using Java. So I would use a lot of results of metadata stuff. So how about go back to your previous one, connect to DB and read metadata example, and save it as connect to DB and result set metadata 2. So let me delete my system.outs. I don't need the system.out, but I do need the result set metadata. I do need the database metadata. The next thing I need to do is I need to create a result set object on the database metadata object to get me the tables. I'll explain the code to you guys when we're done. Okay. So when you run this example, you should be able to see that it displays both tables that we created at the bottom in the console. One we created in Excel in Access, and the other one we created from Java in Access. Again, once everybody get the output, then I'll explain the code. So Zoom folks, did you get it? And then I'll explain the code.
So we create the one in Java, and then we,
Created the department one directly in Access,
and
and then we created one from Java.
updated it, and that's why we were able to add it to the database.
We call the execute update method. That's, yeah, that is the method to make a permanent change in the database. So adding a table is a permanent change. You have questions for her? Or you guys? Okay. So now let me start looking at this code, starting line number 18. So result set is a Java object, RS is a Java object of result set type that is typically used to hold the data coming from the database. It's just a temporary repository or a container. So here I am asking the database metadata to give me all the table names that are in tbs.accdb, because that's what the bridge is. So I'm asking for all the tables. So all the tables will come and sit in the result set. Then I am running a loop on the result set that keep looping as long as result set has more data to spit out. Every time I ask for next, it goes into the result set and grabs the next record. So as it grabs the next record, I am now asking the result set that I want to read the following column and give me the output as a string. So the table underscore name is a built-in column inside the result set whenever you read the tables. And that column has all the table names. And at the end of the process, I close the connection. And every time I spit out a table, I'm just simply displaying a counter with a period. And that's why you see that 1 dot space and then 2 dot space. That's basically what it is. And then I'm incrementing it after I display the value of I, I'm incrementing it for the next one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It is also possible for me to go inside one particular table and start reading its column names, its columns descriptions, and that's what we will look at next. Okay, so let's save this example as number 3. Okay. And then let me get rid of all this code between con.close and result set metadata, because now to be able to read inside a particular table, I need to run an SQL statement. I know the table is empty, but I need to be able to run some kind of an SQL statement to get to the table, and then I can start grabbing it of whatever information I want. So statement. Oh, I need to create my statement object. Statement.
So Alan and Pat told us that we should program practice like a selected from statements and SQL statements. So I have my all caps load, just so you can kind of identify where those keywords are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Because it's a string, it doesn't really matter. And SQL is not case sensitive. So yeah, do that here. So now this is a select command. So select command returns the data back. So that's why I will be holding that in a result set object. And what did I tell you? That if it is not a permanent change, then it's execute query. If it's a permanent change, then it's execute update. Those are the 2 different methods of statement object. So since this is a regular select, I'm calling execute query on SQL. In the previous example, when I had create table, I called execute update. Execute update doesn't really return anything back. It just does the update operation for me. However, the execute query returns something back. That's the whole point of writing a query, because I am expecting something back. So that's why I'm holding it inside the result set. Even though I know this table is empty, but just telling you the process. Okay. The reason we need the result set, because based on this result set, we will now get into result set metadata. Result set metadata is another class other than database metadata, because that allows me to go to the actual table and grab information about the table. So I will now grab the metadata off the table from the result set and push it into the result set metadata object. So result set metadata holds an entire table structure. It's pretty much like when you're dealing with physical files, you have a record format.
Yeah.
So the record format is being held inside result set metadata right now. Okay. So now I need to go inside the record format and start grabbing the fields.
Turn it out one.
Because it starts at 1. The database starts at 1, doesn't start at 0. So the first field is 1, second field is 2. Okay, so it's not like Java collection where first thing is 0. Yeah, okay. So get the column count, I++. Result set metadata dot. Is it giving me? Oh, I forgot, I is less than result set. Result set metadata dot get column, get column. So that should list all, oh, it should be less than equals to, not less than. Here you go. Okay, so make sure your loop is less than equals to, not less than, because otherwise it'll not read the last field. So for each field, it grabs its name, grab its data type, and grab its field size. So you guys have used RDI, and in the RDI, you have used the database Explorer in the RDI. RDI is built in Java. So on the left-hand side in the database Explorer, you click on a table and it shows you the field breakout. That's the code behind the scene.
Your boss. That's really like. That's super cool. Hey, RDI. That's cool. I think Eclipse is my favorite, other than Studio, Visual Studio. They're kind of tied to my first.
But our Irrational Developer is built on Eclipse.
So what can it do more than, I don't feel like it can do more than Eclipse, right?
Which
Well, the capability of RDI.
RDI can do a lot more than Eclipse, because RDI can do Java, can do RPG, can do green screen, can do COBOL, whatever, you add on top. So it is one environment. Just by changing perspective, it can act as another software.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And this is just code editor.
This is basically coding. And if I tie it to the Java GUI environment, I could eventually build something like RDI.
It's crazy. We can make something way more complicated. Like, that was something that is less. You know what I mean? That's kind of making my brain trip. It's weird.
So basically what RDI is doing in the database Explorer is putting this process in a loop that for every object, it just simply calls this code block.
Cool.
And it just populates that little area for you with all the fields and their data type and this field size. And then there are a lot of event handling going on there. Yes, Jessica.
Sorry. I am getting an error. It says user lacks privilege or object not found. I checked the spelling. I think I got it all right. I'm not seeing a difference. I can't share my screen. I'm on a
Oh,
different.
you cannot share your screen. Oh my
No,
God.
sorry. I can figure it out, but yeah, I wasn't sure if maybe like you've heard of that error happening before, but
Is your access closed? Access window?
yes, it's closed.
Access is closed. And it says you don't have permission.
Tell her if she sent it to the Discord.
Can you send the error message to the chat?
If she-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent it to the Discord chat. I don't know if anyone is logged on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. What is it?
we have the same Discord, I made a Discord server, so every student in the software development program could have a place to come and talk about homework and stuff.
Oh, you're logging in. Okay, cool. You know, I was kind of thinking about doing that this semester, so I set up Discord on my computer. I totally forgot about it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be nice.
I can send a screenshot of my code too.
Yeah, that's fine. That will be nice too, if you could do that, please.
I got it. Oh, Jessica, send like the whole class.
Like, whole file.
Yeah, like just copy paste the whole thing, and then you can just look at it.
Okay. Can you send in the Discord chat your source code as well? Like copy paste it?
Yep, I'm sending it. Hold on.
Or you can create a new Java class, name it differently.
I'm just gonna save this one as it.
Just sent it.
Hover over it. No, it's all. The code works for us, the same source code, so there's nothing wrong with the code itself.
Okay,
So
I will take a look then and see.
probably some,
Is it the spelling of the object employees that she has?
but she's not it's not like an error, it's like a permission privilege problem. Hey, Jessica, did you call your table employee or employees?
I think I called it in here. Let me see.
Go to create table.java and see what you call the table in the create table command.
It was employee. That was what it was.
Yeah, so change the, yeah, so come back to the metadata 3 and change the SQL on line number 20 to employee. Because when it said object not found, so I thought probably that may be the case.
That's cool. I love having Discord. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That was totally it. Thank you guys so much.
No problem. Thank you, Tony. So with that, let's move on to reading data from a table. So let's go back to in fact, you know what? Let's save this one as. Let's save this one as read data one.java. And I would like to select the two fields from the department table, department ID and department name, and from the department table. So DPT ID, comma DPT name from department table. So that's what my SQL query is. I'm still creating the statement. I'm still executing the query. I'm still grabbing the metadata. Okay, all of that stuff is still there. What I now want to do is this, since I want to display the data and I want to display the column headings. So that's why I'm using my results set metadata for. So let's do this. Yes, let's use printf. So each printf will spit out one column. So let's set the column width to percentage -20s. And then we'll have a new line. I make a mistake somewhere. Oh, we got the semicolon. Okay, run it. You should be able to see the column headings
Yep.
for now, okay?
Department ID and name.
Now, we will start grabbing the data. While results set dot next. Because results set from line number 20, line number 22 holds all the data. So I'm just running through that result set. Since I have two columns, so percentage -20s, percentage -20s, new line, result set dot get string, because the first column, result set dot get string, the second column. Oh, it's printf, not println, printf. And then new line after every record. Okay. And run it. That's all, that's it. And then you'll have all the data.
And this is a print tab.
Printf.
And this is kind of a stupid question, but while we're waiting for everybody to finish,
Mhm.
how do you get the output window to be black too?
Oh, I went to the preferences. And I went to appearance and I used the theme dark.
See, I have that too, but my output window, console window is white.
Ah. And you've all
Never
this,
mind, I just had to reapply it.
okay, cool.
But the output window text is black.
Oh, your text is black? You can't see anything? Oh my God,
This is what's that?
this is messed up. Well, no, it should not be. Oh, you probably changed anything?
Yeah.
Oh, you probably did, okay.
What is that? What is it? It's just called console.
Console, it should be console. No, you shouldn't go in font. Go in, close that Java tab. It shouldn't be close the Java tab. Go to terminal console. Terminal console font, yeah. Go to edit. And read that one. It doesn't give you color. Cancel. It doesn't give you the color option. Try to do okay, that's editor font.
Let's just do console font. That's the third part.
Okay,
No. Oh, standard out text color, white.
where, oh. Where
So
do
I
you,
just typed in console. In the big search bar, type over that,
okay, oh,
no,
oh, here in the big
yeah,
search
yeah,
bar.
console,
Oh, and then, okay.
Good question.
Mhm.
Department name. Didn't show up. But like sales, I didn't know there. Did I?
Only way once. You are stopping before the last one versus ultimately the last. Okay. Awesome. Everybody got this on Zoom too, right? Oh, we'll scroll back up. Okay, we'll do that. Let me know, Devin, if you want me to scroll down at some point in time, so. Did you guys fill out in Alan's class? The course scheduling survey, any survey, course scheduling survey? You know what, I will make that survey available on Blackboard. Just give me one minute. Let me log into my email account here. I'll post it right under Unit 8. If you could all kindly fill out the survey, it should be the top, the first link. If you refresh Unit 8, it should be the top, the very first link, right at the top.
Do it right now.
Yeah. And Devin, are you caught up or you're still coding?
Like me? Yeah. What did you say? Yeah, right.
Is it a long survey?
No.
Short one, right? That's what I thought. Oh, short one. Oh, go to window preferences. And then right in top of there's. You can see the dark one. So this will be Gateway's new president. She'll be resuming her office from January 5th. Currently, Brian is the president. Brian is retiring. And Ritu Raju, she's coming from Texas. Hmm?
All my exes are in there.
Oh. So. We'll see. Next year will tell what changes we'll face. New leadership, new initiatives, right? And in their past experiences, they want to see if they how that works out in new place. So we'll see.
All I have are current.
He's been in this position for at least a little over 12 years. Say, I think he became president in 2007. Yeah. 2007 or 8, something like that. Yeah. 14, 15 years.
So I finished that and then, we're not doing it anymore.
Oh, we are. I just wanted to take care of that, just so that, I don't forget it.
Oh,
Okay, so everybody caught up on Zoom? Devin, are you caught up with this example or still have any errors? Oh, you good. Okay, cool. Now, let's move on to create table .java, and let's save this example as insert data one.java. So we will try an insert command next. So again, we'll have the class.for name line will be there, the driver manager.get connection line will be there, the statement.create statement will be there. However, our SQL statement will be different. Our SQL statement will be insert into employees. And then I have all fields character except for the last one. So 3 values will be in single quotes and 1 value will be without quotes. So I will have my employee ID, comma, employee name, comma, employee title, comma, and employee salary. One record inserted successfully. That's it. The rest of the stuff will be the same. Your SQL statement will be different. And your output statement will be different. You still will execute update. And of course, I forgot to rename my table. Insert data table. Okay, and then when you click it, it should
fire out like that.
what happened there? Insert, hold a second. Insert into, oh, I forgot a keyword. Values. Values. That should do it. Insert into employees' values.
Getting the error, got a malformed string.
Check your string. To make sure you have single quotes. And the closing parentheses for values. Can you move your, see, you're missing a single quote after 1001. Oh, you're not, okay. Oh, you add a single quote before your number. 30. Yeah, you have a single quote right before the 3. Okay, that's a number.
That's not.
Yeah, it's a number, right? Numbers are not enclosed in single quotes. Here you go. And I changed the message. Yours is still the old one. You guys are? Zoom folks? Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Now let's save this one as insert data to. Insert data 2 and insert data 1 will be very similar. Watch what I'm doing here and also follow. And I'll tell you why I am doing this once I am done structuring this. And then I'll change the values. You run it. You get the same output, one record inserted successfully. It's just a different breakout. I'll tell you why I'm doing that in just a minute, once everybody get it. Yeah, run it and you'll see the message down below. You're getting an error. Oh, you missed the plus sign. No. Oh, change the code to 10002. You do a primary key, you can have the. There you go. Okay. So integrity constraint. So anytime you guys get an integrity constraint error, that means you violated the primary key. So, okay. Everybody in the Zoom also got it? Okay, so now the reason I did this breakdown is because traditionally when the data is coming, it is coming through variables, not hard-coded. So this breakdown allows me to then feed in the variables where needed to be fed. Okay, so that's why I broke it down like this. Now, let me take this to the next level. Let me save it as and do number 3, the third version of this one. Yeah, this was second version. The third version where I will literally declare some variables. String ID equals to 1003. String name equals to Amy Johnson. Oops. String title equals to COO and double salary equal to single quotes and double quotes around. Now I'm going to start putting these variables inside my string. So when I'm putting variables in the string, I got to use concatenation operators. And that's where people go nuts sometimes, right? Why do I have so many pluses? So that's an ID between the two single quotes, so as opposed to hard-coded. Okay. And that's the same norm I got to apply everywhere. Close the double quotes, plus, start another double quotes. And between the two pluses, I got to do, now shit could never be holy. I'm just kidding.
Wow. All right, so we delete inside the 1002, we add another double quote. Holy shit. This. Yes. Oh, that's so gross.
That's why I did it in 3 steps.
So gross.
Yeah, we have this way concept of holiness, right? We promote everything to holy.
Dude, what? Sweet, but it doesn't work.
Just balance your quotes. And then between the 2 of them, you do pluses and a variable. Yeah. That's great. Here. Would you like the backspace working? Oh, I think I'm ready.
It's already, it's not like.
Close eclipse, save the changes. Close the eclipse and reopen eclipse. Continue to do that.
It's so weird.
You got it, yay. Okay, so let me run it. I did not run mine yet. And 1 record inserted successfully.
Well, at least salary doesn't eat all that gross stuff.
Yeah, because salary is a number.
That's so annoying. I'm gonna look at this in my homework and like, what?
And by the way, so salary is the only thing that's gross. The gross pay. I don't know why we don't like, we don't like gross things only, but when it comes to money, it's a gross pay. I don't know if you've ever been in this situation where a friend of yours and said, "Oh my God, this burger tastes like crap. Would you like to taste it?" First of all, how often have you tasted crap? Second of all, why do you want me to taste the crap?
Like those jelly beans, like the roast jelly beans. Have you ever seen those?
No.
So, have you heard of the jelly bean factory? Jelly Belly?
Yeah.
So it's like we're famous.
Oh.
They have like gross.
They have, yes.
Underwear, dirty socks.
Yeah, vomit.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know why. Who came up with that stuff? And people eat it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Oh. Okay. Back to you guys in Zoom. I don't know if you heard us or not. We're having a little fun here.
I only heard half of it, so it was really entertaining.
Okay, so after this, we will save this one as number 4. Insert data number 4. And now we will accept the input from user. So we will use the scanner object to do that. Okay, so we will use the scanner object.
One second. I had to read on.
Okay,
We're saving it as.
number 4, the same one, insert data, number 4.
Yeah, I only have, this is my.
You
second-
probably did not save as frequently as I did. But whatever, whichever is your last one, just save it as the next number.
Okay. Java util.
Yep. And one second. Oh, I never saved it as.
Oh my God.
So now it will ask for an ID, a name. A title. A salary. And I'll insert that in the database.
When you run it, you just do it and then there's no output after you enter in the information, or we have to still work on that. So I didn't launch that. I entered as CEO and then didn't do that.
Oh, it's.
I entered and then. It's kind of good there.
Enter ID and, oh, you missed one more output line. Hold on a second, terminate your application. Okay, and go to the end of line 21. Oh, sorry, no, not line 21, sorry, line 23. There's back, yeah, hit enter here. You missed enter employee salary line. It's actually a blinking cursor waiting for the next input. Yeah. And then you get, then you can delete line 22. Come on again. Zoom folks, got it? So we did this in 4 steps for that very reason, because I didn't want it to go directly to this one, where I would accept and do this crazy insert. But that's how you will do it, that when the data comes into the Java application, you have to create a generic statement with the concatenated placeholders for variables.
And we'll need to do that for our assignment, right?
You would have to do it for whenever I ask you to take an input and store it in the database. Okay. So I could very well replace this with a GUI input or console input, doesn't matter. How the input comes in doesn't matter, but the logic of lines 25 through 30 will be exactly the same.
Yeah, so, okay, cool. So we'll just, like, for our assignment, we're running the GUI application that would write to that thing. So if we want to take user response, when we apply this.
Yes, so here we go. So that's what Tony is referring to. Then I've asked you to write a JavaFX GUI application to insert data to employees table, right? Exactly. So you're taking this very example and you're turning it for the GUI.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when we,
So you'll create a JavaFX application with text fields to take these 4 inputs, and upon clicking the button, all of this data will transfer into the table. So all this code that I wrote here in the TriCat block will be part of your event handler.
can we see the database table that we just manipulated, right?
Yeah, double click on the tbs.accdb and double click and click on enabled content, and then double click on employees, and you'll have all the data there that you entered.
Oh, there wasn't even, okay. There
Yeah.
wasn't an employees before. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, because we created that table.
That's so cool.
Okay.
So yeah, that's an access. You get to create your own database. That's great.
Okay, so you can close that. And we will do something similar with DB2 when we get to the Java Enterprise Edition part of this class.
This is sweet. I like this.
Zoom folks, do you have any question about the homework? For this
No,
week?
no questions.
Okay, okay. So this is where we will stop today. Next week, we'll progress a little bit more into the databases. And then probably somewhere towards the end of next week's class, we will start working with Java Enterprise Edition. Because in a week or so, probably not next week, but the week after, which will be a week before Thanksgiving, is when I will give you your project specification. And then that project will be due in 3 weeks on the 9th.
So how would, those are my struggle. I'm gonna go home and download Access on my PC at home. I can just zip this entire project and import it the way I would to my clips on my PC.
Unzip it and then drag and drop like we have been doing it. You can drag and drop too. If you don't want to import, you can do it that way too.
You can just drag and drop it. Wow.
Yeah, like the way I did it today. That's what I did. I just grabbed my file and I dropped it on the source folder.
Interesting. Cool. And everything, it imports correctly.
Yeah, it just gives you a little dialog box saying, do you want a copy file? And you say, okay.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay, and then you make sure that the XML and the database files are dragged and dropped at the project level, not at the source folder.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense.
Mhm. Okay, so what I was saying was that we have 2 more classes, and then we have a Thanksgiving break, and then we have 2 more classes after Thanksgiving. Okay, so since we do not have a final exam, we will still meet like a regular class on the 9th, but I'll tell you on December 2nd, what will be our December 9th class be like. Okay, if you guys are so far behind in the project then we will turn the December 9th class into you completing your project. Okay, so we will decide on December 2nd, how the December 9th will look like. But you don't have a final exam, it's just a final project that you will be working on delivering. Okay? All good? Zoom folks? In class? Awesome. See you guys next week.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks a lot. Bye.
I had a question about the example we just went over.
The example we just went over? Yes.
I'm just confused about the concatenation, like why we did it that way.
Okay. The concatenation is done like this because, first of all, the variables cannot be inside the quotes, otherwise it would not recognize them as variables. So the variables will always be outside of the quotes. If you have a question about why do we have single quotes around the variables, because any variable whose value will be treated as a string value behind the scene in the database, like ID is a character, name is a character, title is a character. That's why they are enclosed in single quotes. Salary is a number, that's why it's not enclosed in single quotes.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
No problem. So we'll stop recording.